What's up, people? It's Luke back again. Perfection. Right, so this video here is to talk about the start of mental health. I'm going to do this in 3 parts because I only want to do these videos for 10 minutes. I don't want to bore people for too long. Just quick videos, trying to get straight to the point. And then, you can move on to the next video if you wish to. So basically I think it was about a year ago, I was on Facebook. And I saw a post saying, please put this on your page, or reprint or repost. Please repost this on your page if you actually care, if you actually give a damn about mental health. And at the time, I didn't really want to post it on my page because I didn't want to kind of I didn't want to go down that route. And that's what this video is about, really. Is to go down that kind of road. Alright, let's get comfortable while we begin talking about this. Alright, okay. So in 2001, I discovered I suffered from mental health. By searching on the internet. Well, we'd have to start at 2016, really. I think on my final years of school, it was a bit of a struggle for me, and I kind of I felt something was wrong because it seems, I was always called someone that was kind of lazy, a goof, someone that didn't take anything seriously. People didn't have high expectations of me in school, and I wouldn't say it was that way, because now when I look back at it, I realise that there's not much I really could have done to change that. Some people say if I was younger, I would have done this different. I would have paid more attention. Guess what? I would have still been here, really. Nothing. There's not much I could have done. I can't sit back and say, "Oh, look, you were lazy." I wasn't lazy at all. I was battling something then. And I knew towards the end of school, where I was putting in maximum effort but wasn't getting much results, I realised, wait a minute here, something's wrong. And it was a struggle going to college. I left school in 1 GCSE, and that was an E. And then I had to start at the bottom of college, foundation courses. Done that, moved up to intermediate, and then it was a long process in college. But by about 21, basically, when I completed this performing arts course, I went to work in the job. I should have went straight to university, but I didn't. I took a year out to find work, to make some money. And while I was at work, I felt this strong kind of depression kind of hang over me. And back then, I was led to believe that depression meant that you were crazy, that you were schizophrenic, that you were angry, you'd punch holes through the wall and you deserved to be locked up. That's what I was always led to believe, by some people that were close to me, that were in the health profession, worked in hospitals and things like that. That's the opinion that they shared. So I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I went on the internet and I started reading some stories from other people and discovered that, wait a minute here, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And it led to me kind of, to be honest with you, at the time it was kind of like a self-diagnosis. When I was 25, I suddenly created a mental health website, and I spent at least 500 hours easily on it, and the site was gaining pace. It started off with just me viewing it. It's like 3,000 of my own views towards the beginning, and then I didn't even recognize people were even going on the site, to be honest. I was on it every day, and then occasionally I would go on there, and once in a blue moon there'd be an odd comment. And it was hard back then, because even then you had spam bots. You had these bots that kind of, I don't know how people done it, but there's these spam bots that come on sites and they'd say things like, "Oh, hi, my name is blah blah blah, contact me." It was a spam bot, But some of the people were actually genuine, and they were like, I know what you're going through. I wish I could help you, and if I had a family member in the same way, I'd reach out to them and this and that. And it was really uplifting, you know, to have the support of people at the time, and the site was gaining recognition. Um, you know, I did use certain articles of people back then, of stories in the media where mental health caused certain family members of other people, of course, to kind of take their own lives and things like that. So I researched what is schizophrenia, what is bipolar, what is, and that, I only got to scratch the surface of it really, because they're all quite deep subjects. Subjects that I won't even touch upon now, because that's what we have YouTube and things like that for. So this video here really is just to get into an explanation of what I think. If I was an outsider and I wanted to know what is mental health like, or what is the person going through, I've been sitting down and been thinking, how can I explain it to someone? So I came up with 3 kind of examples for the first video. You know, the first example is, imagine. Alright, first example is about 4 years ago. I went round to my brother's house to meet up for a poker game. Brought some friends, he brought friends. We're sitting down there playing poker, and for some reason it seemed like whatever hand that I had was just a losing hand, you know. And at first it was like a joke kind of thing. It was like, yeah, alright, the first 5 hands are losing hand. But then the 6th hand, the 7th hand, then an hour into it, I've still got a losing hand. 2 hours into it. So, in the end, rather than just quickly fold with a bad hand, obviously I tried bluffing. You know, tried the old poker's face. Tried, you know, serious face, like, oh wow, yeah. Alright, all in this time, yeah. All of it. You know, and then they would say, all of it? And I'd say, yeah, all of it. And they would say, alright, all of it and double. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, all of it in double. And it was like, oh dear. And again, we turn over our cards and they'd win, you know. The reason why I give this example is that with mental health, it's almost like you're entering the world with a losing hand, you know. And there's not much you can do about it. There's not much you can do with it, to be honest with you. The only thing you can really do is kind of bluff your way through it. It's like pretend like it's not there and somehow bluff your way kind of through it. You know, that's the best example I can use. You know, you've got a losing hand there and there's not much you know, the doors are closed basically. And you have to kind of somehow pretend that they're open, and by doing that, you can achieve some sort of success kind of thing. But it's hard. It's hard, you know. Where some people may start the world with a hand which is 50-50, yours is a total losing hand. That's the first example I would use to give it for mental health. The second one I would give would be what was the second one? Right, the second one was a PC. You know. I remember when I bought my first PC in 2004, we walked into the store. It looks like a very, the sales guy was, you know, working his charm. At the time I was with my mother at the time, and I was looking at the PC, but he was really trying to sell it to her, really. And I was like, look, we'll just go for the standard PC. He was like, no, look at this one, it's better, you know. And to be honest with you, even then, the PCs looked identical. On the outside of the PCs, they looked perfectly identical. But there was one for 600, one for 1,000. The only thing that was different was the parts inside, which I'll later on explain about. Anyway, so we ended up buying this PC for 1,300, something like that. We had a year to pay it back. Now, when I got home with this PC, it was my first PC. Everything seemed to run relatively smoothly until I started putting programs onto it, and it would start to crash, you know. put internet programs on it, it would start to crash. The browsers would crash. I'd put a certain amount of programs, it started to slow down. It was just kind of, rivaled with problems kind of thing, and I was none the wiser, as far as I was concerned. That's how every PC is. I mean, it was a brilliant PC. I still got the job done, still able to play computer games every now and then, still able to do my coursework on it, listen to music and things like that, but just crashing, just non-stop. And as far as I'm concerned, I walked away thinking, PCs, they're okay, but every now and then they have this tendency to kind of crash. They're a bit troublesome, really. But it was only until about 4 years after that, and I can't remember what reason why I ended up buying another one, but I ended up going to this kind of second-hand store and then cash converters, and I bought another PC. And this PC in particular, when I got it home, put the same programs on, waiting for it to crash again, doesn't crash. I'm going back, using the same browser, using the same things, and the PC is just running smoothly. Now you may say, look, why are you kind of blabbing on? What's this whole PC business got to do with anything? The reason why I'm blabbing on is because the PC is very similar to mental health. When I had the first PC, it was crashing, it was doing all of these kind of things. Now if you would have sat it beside another PC, they would have looked exactly the same. The only difference is that one PC had issues with it. Maybe the hardware or whatever, or definitely wasn't the software. Maybe inside of the PC, I don't know, something was going wrong with it. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that it's very hard. It's the very first PC that I had issues, and I didn't know any better. I thought that's how every PCs were. Yeah. Then I got the second PC and I realized that, wait a minute here, they're not all like this. They may look a certain way, but some of them have issues and some of them don't. So with mental health, it's kind of the same thing. People go on how someone looks, how someone talks, how someone presents themselves, but it's more internally. It has nothing to do with the outside. It has something to do with what's going on in the inside. Doesn't make a difference. Someone's extremely attractive, someone's extremely ugly, someone's 10 foot tall, someone's 2 foot tall. Mental health is mental health. It affects everyone. Don't judge your book by its cover. That's the point that I'm trying to make with the whole PC thing. The last example I want to use is just when I was going back about 12 years ago, maybe 14 years ago, I was like 11 stone. I remember walking around telling everyone I was the fittest guy on the planet. No one could run as fast as I could and everything else. And I remember that I had a friend around me at the time that weighed 13 stone. I remember saying, Luke, you're not that fit. I'll beat you in a race. And I said to him, listen, I'll beat you in a race with weights in my hand. That's how confident I am. I'm the fittest guy. I'm one of the fittest guys I've ever known. And I always used to brag and boast about it. And I remember taking down the park, having these weights in my hand, and I remember running, and I remember beating him by a long shot. And I remember kind of, thinking that I really was something special, I was really this top guy and everything else. But it was only when about a year later I was trying to gain weight, and I was given the wrong advice at the time as well, that I started drinking beers, eating the wrong kind of food, advice that friends gave me how to gain weight. And when I took a long break, because I also ruptured my Achilles tendon in the midst of trying to gain weight, when I finally went back down the park and tried to do a run, I struggled. I couldn't even do half a lap around the park. And it wasn't something that I could understand. I couldn't figure it out. How comes it's so much of a struggle? It was something, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like an out-of-body experience. It was like I was running around a body that wasn't mine. I wasn't used to this, And this is another example of mental health, is that you won't be able to understand it unless you've actually experienced it, you know. But the running around the park thing is a perfect example, because it almost felt like it wasn't me. I wasn't used to this. I've always been fit. I've never been unfit. So when I ran around the park, it felt like I was carrying weights. I was I was out of breath. But this is my first. Well, time's running out, so I will catch you in the next video. But this is my first example of what it feels like from an outsider perspective looking in.